Let me tell you something today. Pain is real. Struggle is real. The tears on your pillow are real. But so is PRPOS. And I need you to understand this. God never wastes pain. What you're going through is not random. It's not meaningless. It's preparation. So before you give up, before you give in, hear this loud and clear. Your purpose is bigger than your pain. There's a battle going on. And it's not just physical. It's spiritual, emotional, and mental. The enemy wants you stuck in your pain. He wants you to believe that the hardship, the betrayal, the loneliness, that's the end of your story. But it's not. See, God never calls you without preparing you. And preparation often comes wrapped in pain. The cross came before the crown. The prison came before the palace. The wilderness came before the promised land. Don't mistake the season of pressure for the absence of purpose. Some of you are in a place where you're asking, why me? But I want you to ask a different question. What is this pain pushing me toward? Because pain, when surrendered to God, becomes a platform for purpose. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. The very thing that broke your heart may be the tool that builds your future. The people who walked away, they weren't meant to go where God is taking you. The door that closed, it was never or door to begin with. Don't let temporary pain make you cancel a permanent calling. Pain has a voice, but so does purpose. And it's louder when you listen with faith. Remember, diamonds are made under pressure. Oil is pressed from the olive, and gold is refined by fire. You are being shaped for something greater than you can imagine. The question is, will you trust the process or quit before the promise? Pain is not the end. It's the beginning of your purpose. I know that's not what the world tells you. The world says pain is something to escape, to numb, to medicate, or to avoid at all costs. But what if I told you that your pain is actually an announcement? What if your pain is the very thing that signals that something powerful is about to be born in you? You see, the enemy wants to convince you that pain is your finish line, but God says it's your starting point. Every purpose begins with a breaking. You can't step into destiny without walking through difficulty. There is no resurrection without a crucifixion. There is no glory without a grind. The process of purpose is not pretty. It's not painless. It's not perfect. But it is productive if you endure it. Pain is the soil where purpose grows. When a seed is planted in the ground, it doesn't look beautiful. It gets buried. It gets crushed. It gets dark. But deep inside, something is stirring. The outer shell breaks so that new life can begin. That seed doesn't die. It transforms. And that's exactly what God is doing in you. That heartbreak, that disappointment, that betrayal, it's not the end. It's God breaking the shell of your comfort so your calling can rise up and live. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are people who've been through something. Their voices carry authority, not because they read it in a book, but because they survived it in the fire. Pain has a way of refining your voice, sharpening your focus, and burning away what was never meant to stay. And when you rise from that pain, and you won't come back the same, you'll come back wiser, you'll come back stronger, you'll come back anointed. You see, purpose doesn't show up in comfort. Comfort keeps you where you are. But pain pushes you to ask deeper questions. Pain exposes what you really believe. Pain will either destroy you or define you, and that decision is yours. God never promised that you wouldn't go through hard times, but He did promise that He would never waste them. The crushing was never meant to kill you. It was meant to unlock you. Think about it. Every major shift in your life probably followed some form of pain. The job you left, the relationship that ended, the moment you hit rock bottom and said, enough is enough. Those were not accidents. They were divine turning points. You may not have seen it then, but now you look back and realize that was the moment God started something new. That was when He peeled back the layers of who you thought you were, reveal who He created you to be. You don't discover purpose on the mountaintop. You find it in the valley when you've run out of strength, when the plan you had falls apart, when people walk away, when the lights go out and it's just you and God. That's when purpose whispers, I'm still here. You're not done. This isn't over. And make no mistake, pain will speak. It'll tell you to quit. It'll tell you that you're not enough. It'll lie and say that God has forgotten you. But that's not the truth. The truth is, the greater the pain, the greater the purpose on the other side. The truth is, the enemy fights hardest when you are closest to breakthrough. The truth is, you are being stretched for something far bigger than you can see right now. So don't run from pain. Run through it. Let it teach you. Let it purify you. Let it shape you. Let it draw you closer to the one who knows the full blueprint of your life. Because once you've walked through the fire and come out refined, nothing and no one will ever be able to shake the calling God placed on your life. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the signal that God is doing something deeper, something eternal, something unshakable in you. Don't curse the pain, claim the purpose. Because what you thought was breaking you is really what's birthing you. God never calls without first preparing, and pain is part of the preparation. That's a truth we don't always like to hear. We want the calling, we want the assignment, we want the destiny, but we don't want the process that makes us ready for it. We love the idea of being used by God, but we wrestle with the idea that before He uses us publicly, He often breaks us privately. Yet if you look through all of Scripture, you'll find that before God elevates, He always prepares. And His preparation is rarely comfortable. It often comes wrapped in pain. You cannot skip the preparation. You cannot rush the process. There is no fast forward button to purpose. Before David ever held a crown, he held a slingshot. Before Moses ever led a nation, he wandered the wilderness for 40 years. Before Joseph ever wore a robe of power, he wore shackles in prison. The pattern is clear. Pain precedes purpose. God does not send His servants into battle with untested weapons, and He does not place people in destiny without shaping their character through adversity. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. God isn't angry with you. He's investing in you. He's molding something inside of you that comfort could never build. When everything is going right, when the sun is shining and the doors are open, it's easy to praise. But it's in the silence, in the struggle, in the stretching, that your faith deepens. It's in those hidden seasons, those confusing chapters, that your roots grow strong. That's where God teaches you how to stand when no one is clapping, how to pray when no one is watching, and how to trust when everything in you wants to quit. Many people want the platform, but don't want the pressure that comes with it. They want the reward, but not the refining. But God is not interested in promoting you to a place that your character cannot sustain. He is more concerned with what's happening in you than what's happening for you. And so, He prepares you. Sometimes that means removing people who were never meant to go where He's taking you. Sometimes that means closing doors you begged Him to open. Sometimes it means breaking your plans to build His purpose. The painful seasons are the ones that train you. That betrayal you went through, it taught you how to discern. That loss you endured, it showed you where your real strength comes from. That disappointment, it redirected you to something better than you were asking for. Every tear, every trial, every moment of confusion was not wasted. It was sharpening you, testing you, shaping you into the kind of person who can carry the weight of the calling. You don't just stumble into purpose. You grow into it. You mature into it. And that takes time. God is never late, but He's also never rushed. He's patient with your preparation because what He's preparing you for is significant. If you feel like you're being stretched right now, if you feel like you're being broken open, congratulations, you're in training. You're not being overlooked, you're being prepared. And preparation is not glamorous, it's hidden. It's lonely. It's confusing. It feels like nothing is happening, when in fact, everything is happening. It's the kind of season where God removes the noise so you can hear His voice more clearly. Where He closes the doors so you stop chasing approval. Where He allows the silence so your identity is no longer built on applause, but on the truth of who He says you are. There will be moments where you cry out and ask, God, why is this happening? And heaven is quiet. Not because God has abandoned you, but because the teacher is always silent during the test. He wants to know if you'll still obey, if you'll still believe, if you'll still worship, not when it's easy, but when it costs you something. Because when the preparation is done, when the fire has refined you, when the crushing has pressed out the pride and fear, then you will be ready. Then the calling won't crush you. It will flow through you. Then the platform won't be about you. It will be about Him. Then you'll step into your assignment with the authority and humility that only pain can teach. So don't despise the preparation. Don't resist the refining. You're not just going through, you're growing through. God never calls without first preparing. And if you're in pain right now, that means purpose is near. Don't waste your pain. Surrender it and let it push you into your destiny. Pain is one of life's greatest forces. It can either destroy you or develop you. It can break you down or build you up. But the outcome isn't in the pain itself. It's in your response to it. The difference between someone who grows and someone who gives up is what they choose to do with the pain. You can carry it, complain about it, bury it, or you can surrender it. When you surrender pain to God, it becomes fuel. It becomes movement. It becomes purpose in motion. Pain is inevitable, but wasting it is optional. Too many people go through seasons of struggle, heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, and come out bitter instead of better. Not because God wasn't at work, but because they held on instead of handing it over. They clung to the offense. They nurtured the wound. They let the pain define them instead of refine them. But when you give your pain to God, you give Him permission to turn it into something powerful. That heartbreak you experienced, it can become the heartbeat of your ministry. That struggle you survived, it can become the story that sets someone else free. That valley you walked through, it can become the vision that shapes your future. Pain has purpose if you surrender it. If you lay it at the feet of God instead of dragging it with you into every relationship, every decision, every new chapter, you've got to stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, God, what do you want to do through me because of this? That shift in perspective is where healing begins. That's where destiny is activated. The pain isn't the end. It's the push. You were not created to live your life reacting to wounds. You were created to live by design, and that design includes transformation. Your pain may not have been your choice, but what you do with it is. You didn't get to choose the storm, but you can choose who you become because of it. The enemy wants you to waste your pain, to drown in it, to get stuck in it, to let it become your identity. But God wants to use it. He wants to redeem it. He wants to make it part of your story in such a way that people see the scar and say, only God could have brought you through that. Think about it. Some of the most impactful people in history didn't come from places of ease. They came from places of adversity. They were formed in the furnace. They were carved by conflict. They didn't let the pain kill their purpose. They let it reveal it. They didn't run from the fire. They let it refine them. And now we remember them not because they avoided pain, but because they overcame it and used it. When you surrender your pain to God, He does more than heal. He transforms. He turns wounds into wisdom, tears into testimony, scars into strength. He does not erase what happened, but He gives it meaning. He turns it into something that can carry weight and bring life. What once hurt you now humbles you. What once made you weak now fuels your compassion. What once crushed you now gives you clarity. But here's the key. You've got to stop fighting God in the process. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is handing over what you can't carry. It's saying, God, I don't understand it, but I trust you with it. It's trusting that even the most painful pieces of your story have a place in God's plan. It's letting go of your version of justice and letting God bring redemption. Pain can either keep you stuck in the past or push you forward into destiny. But that only happens when you stop rehearsing it and start releasing it. Some of you have been carrying pain for so long, it's become part of your identity. But God is saying, it's time to let that go. It's time to lay it down. It's time to give it to me, because once you do, you'll find that what was holding you back was actually the thing He wanted to use to launch you forward. Don't waste your pain. Don't sit in it. Don't numb it, hide it, or pretend it doesn't hurt. Bring it to God. Surrender it. Let Him shape it. Let Him breathe on it. Let Him turn it into purpose. Because when you do, you won't just survive. You'll step into the very destiny He designed for you before the pain ever began. Your present struggle is setting up your future strength. You may not feel it right now. You may not see it yet. But I promise you, everything you are enduring today is working something deep inside of you that's preparing you for what's ahead. Struggle is not senseless. It's not wasted. God uses struggle as a training ground for strength. He uses hardship to stretch you, pressure to shape you, and resistance to build what comfort never could. There is something about struggle that reaches places in us that blessings never touch. When everything is going right, you learn how to celebrate. But when everything falls apart, you learn how to endure. And endurance is not something you get from ease. It's something you earn through effort, through pain, through pressing on when quitting seems easier. That's when real strength is born. Right now, you might feel tired. You might feel overwhelmed. You may be asking, why am I going through this? But I want you to shift your mindset. Don't just ask, why me? Ask, what's being built in me? Because struggle is a signal that something is under construction. God is developing muscle in the spiritual realm that you're going to need in your next season. He's forming resilience, patience, humility, discernment, not by dropping those things into your lap, but by walking you through fire so they're forged inside of you. The gym of life doesn't build strength without resistance. If you want stronger muscles, you've got to lift heavier weight, and the same is true in the spirit. The reason you're facing opposition right now is because you are being equipped to carry more later. The weight you're pushing today may be preparing you for a blessing that would crush you if you weren't ready. Don't resent the struggle. Recognize it as divine resistance training. You may be hidden in this season, but you are not forgotten. You are being strengthened. You are being readied. What you're learning in the dark will one day empower you to stand in the light. The tears you're crying now are watering the seeds of strength that will grow into boldness, wisdom, and spiritual power. God is not wasting one moment of your pain. He's using every battle to sharpen your weapons. Every disappointment is strengthening your resolve. Every delay is deepening your dependence on Him. Sometimes we think that struggle means something is wrong, that we've failed, that we've messed up, or that God has left us. But struggle doesn't mean you're off track. Often, it means you're right where you're supposed to be, because it's in the pressing that the oil flows. It's in the breaking that the blessing is birthed. It's in the struggle that you discover the strength you didn't know you had. And let me tell you, when that strength begins to show up, when you start to realize that what used to shake you no longer moves you, when what used to scare you now grows you, you'll see that the struggle was never meant to stop you. It was meant to shape you. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It wasn't cruelty. It was conditioning. It wasn't the enemy winning. It was God working. You see, God allows certain struggles not because He enjoys watching you suffer, but because He sees something in your future that requires a different version of you. A stronger version. A wiser version. A more focused, faith-filled version. And the only way to meet that version of you is to go through the process, to endure the pressure, to walk through the pain, not around it, through it. Because it's in the fire that gold is refined. It's in the wilderness that dependence is built. It's in the storm that peace becomes more than a theory. It becomes your reality. So if you're struggling right now, if you feel like everything is heavy and nothing makes sense, hold on. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. The strength you are praying for is already being built inside of you. It may not feel like strength. It may feel like survival. But even survival is proof that you're stronger than you think. You've made it this far. You're still standing. That's not weakness. That's strength in disguise. Your present struggle is not the end. It's the setup. It's the soil where your future strength is growing. Keep going. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Because the same struggle that feels like it's breaking you is the very struggle God is using to make you unbreakable. You were not created to live in pain, but to rise through it and reveal purpose. Let that sink in. Pain was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. You were not born to be a prisoner to your wounds. You were born with purpose, crafted with intention, and shaped by divine design. Pain may be a chapter in your story, but it is not the whole book. And it is certainly not the final page. Sometimes we get so caught up in what hurt us that we forget who made us. We forget that before the pain ever entered our lives, God had already written purpose into our identity. We were created with a calling, destined to rise, designed to overcome. But pain has a way of clouding that truth. Pain screams so loud that it drowns out destiny. It convinces us that we are damaged beyond use, broken beyond repair. But the truth is, pain is not where you were meant to stay. It's where you learn how to rise. There is a rising inside of you. Even if it's quiet, even if it's faint, there is something in your spirit that refuses to stay stuck. That whisper inside that says, I was made for more, is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the echo of your Creator reminding you that you were built for something beyond survival. You were made to reveal glory through your scars, to bring light through what once brought darkness, to carry strength forged in the furnace of affliction. Nobody rises without resistance. You can't reach higher without first pressing through something heavy. Pain may come uninvited, but rising is a choice. And every time you choose to get up, every time you choose to believe again, to trust again, to move forward even with trembling steps, you are honoring the purpose God planted in you. You're not just recovering, you're rising. And when you rise, you don't rise alone. You carry with you a story, a strength, a testimony that others need to see. Your pain is not pointless. It's preparation. It's the stage where purpose gets revealed. And when you rise through it, not by pretending it didn't hurt, not by ignoring the tears, but by standing in the strength of grace, you become evidence that God is real, that healing is possible, and that purpose can come out of anything. Even the worst moments of your life can become the foundation of your greatest ministry. Don't let pain make you bitter. Let it make you bold. Let it make you brave. Let it push you to places you would have never gone if everything had stayed comfortable. Sometimes it takes heartbreak to show you your heart. Sometimes it takes a breakdown to reveal your breakthrough. Sometimes it takes losing everything to find out who you really are and who God really is. The world will try to label you by your pain. She's the one who was abandoned. He's the one who failed. They're the ones who lost it all. But heaven doesn't call you by your pain. Heaven calls you by your purpose. God never looked at your struggle and changed his mind about your calling. He knew the valleys you'd walk through. He knew the nights you'd cry. And yet he still said, you're the one I want. He still placed gifts in you, still gave you a voice, still assigned you with a mission. That means your pain hasn't disqualified you. It's qualifying you. It's adding depth to your voice. It's adding weight to your words. It's adding compassion to your calling. You weren't made to live under pain. You were made to rise through it. To walk through fire and come out refined. To face the storm and still declare peace. To be knocked down and still get back up with power in your step and purpose in your eyes. The same God who allowed the pain is the same God who will use it to elevate you. Not because the pain was good, but because He is. So don't settle in sorrow. Don't pitch a tent in trauma. Don't build your identity around brokenness. You were not created to live there. You were created to move through it, to rise above it, and to come out of it carrying something eternal. Something real. Something holy. Your purpose is not buried beneath the pain. It's breaking out of it. And when you rise, when you decide that the pain will no longer have the final word, you become a living message, a light, a miracle, a testimony that says, yes, I went through it, but I didn't stay there. I rose, and my purpose rose with me. So now you know. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something greater. It's the soil where your strength is growing, the place where your purpose is being uncovered. You weren't built to break. You were born to rise. Every tear, every struggle, every unanswered question has been shaping something powerful inside you. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms it. You may have walked through fire, but that fire refined you. You may have been wounded, but those wounds are now weapons in the hands of a faithful God. What once looked like defeat will become the very testimony that breathes life into others. You didn't just survive. You were strengthened, stretched, and set up for something bigger than you imagined. So don't shrink back. Don't let pain silence your voice or paralyze your purpose. Step out. Speak up. Keep moving forward. Because the pain that tried to bury you is the very thing God will use to bless others through you. Your purpose is not on pause. It's being activated. And now it's time to rise, not in your strength, but in the strength that was forged through every single trial. Your purpose is bigger than your pain